Good afternoon, students. It's time to create a new chapter. It's Mrs. Cinti here, and we are moving on to Chapter 2, Expressions and Equations. I'm looking forward to working with you on this, and take out your notes as I take out my desk scribble. And we do that. Okay, good. So, moving right along. Section 2.1 is known as mathematical expressions, okay? The difference between an expression and an equation is what we're looking at right now. An expression is 6 minus 4. Any mathematical phrase or formula that does not contain that equal sign, okay, that's the key. No equals sign, and we're good. Okay, no equal sign or any type of inequality. So none of this, none of this, none of this, none of this, okay? So that is what we're looking at right now. Okay, an equation does have the equal sign, so we're solving to have both sides be equal, but we are only focusing on this guy right here, okay, expressions. There are two types of expressions I'd like to talk to you about today, and so go ahead and write this down. So vocabulary, there are numerical expressions. Well, these are mathematical expressions. So of the two mathematical expressions, there is one that is known as a numerical expression. We'll change color for the definition. Numerical expression, it contains numbers, like 1 through 9, you know, in different places, and at least one operation. Okay, one operation meaning addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, any of those guys, okay? And remember that just 3 by itself would work because 3 implies the 3 times 1 or 3 plus 0, any of those things. It will still give you that 3. So 3 by itself can be considered a numerical expression. It's a little bit of a waste of time that way, but 3 plus 2, any of those would be in a numerical expression. The other type of mathematical expression is known as an algebraic expression. And this one is going to contain a variable, okay? Contains one or more variables. The way I said that was weird. Contains one or more variables or unknowns. And those would be like X, Y, Z, A, S, whatever. And then it can contain also, it can contain numbers and operations, just like above, like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. But any expression, again, does not contain an equal sign, okay? So does not contain an equal sign or inequalities. So one thing just to remind ourselves of are what are the words that represent an operation. So words to indicate operations. And I know we've done this before, but let's go ahead and get this in our notes. So if we're talking addition, sometimes we hear the word add, we hear the word sum, we hear plus, we hear increased by sometimes, you know, you can add to that list as you go along. When we're talking subtraction, we're talking about decrease. We hear the word subtract. That's ironic. We hear the word minus. We hear the word difference. What is the difference between these two numbers? We hear the word less, 10 less than 30, that sort of thing. When we hear multiplication, product is one, multiply by, sometimes groups, how many groups of 5, times 7 times 3. And then division, we hear the word quotient. And then, you know, the really tricky one, divided by, or goes into. Okay, so these are all words, and then I'm sure you can add more. And then what you'll be doing for homework is to experiment with these sorts of things. So number 1, try these. Just this is what your problems will look like. Number 1, what is the sum of 1.5 and 3? So what you would do is you would write 1.5 plus 3. Okay, that's what it is. You don't have to solve it. You don't have to even go to the 4.5. It's just you're translating a word expression into a numerical expression in that case, or you can do, let's try half the product of 6 and x. So product of 6 and x, so 6x, and it's half of that, so divided by 2. That would be what you would write. Okay, great. Go ahead and do some practice and ask questions as you go along. Have a great afternoon.